question really for me is how did you get started in hockey from an early age?
Yeah, so obviously I'm from California, so hockey's not the biggest there. But I was fortunate enough that my older brother was playing. So basically, kind of he started with playing roller hockey, and then loved it. Loved roller hockey, so started playing ice hockey, and pretty much when he made that transition over to ice hockey was right when I was hitting the age to where I could fit some skates on. So when he'd go to the rink for his practice, I'd be dying to get out on the ice. So pretty much as soon as he started playing, I was able to squeeze a skate on and go out there and run around.
And obviously with California and Walnut Creek, is there many rinks that there, or was it long travel days to try and find somewhere that was convenient to go to?
Yeah, not many rinks in the area. I was again very fortunate that my parents made a lot of sacrifices in order to get us to the rink. But we started in Berkeley, California. There was a rink. It was about 30 minutes away, and then played there for a few years, and then unfortunately that closed down. The program shut down. The rink shut down. So started playing San Jose for the San Jose Junior Sharks. That was further. That was about an hour away. So we'd make the hike probably 3 or 4 times a week out there for practice and games. But they had a good organization, so we were fortunate enough that as there weren't a ton of rinks, there was a good enough organization to kind of get exposure.
And were you always a forward, or did you try D? Did you try being a goalie in your early years?
When I was first kind of starting in Berkeley, I played forward, defense, and every once in a while goalie. We there was one year I think it was either mites or squirts. We actually didn't have a goalie, couldn't find one. So a player, one of the skaters would dress up each game. We'd kind of rotate through. So obviously that was super young and that didn't last too long, but it was fun to do at a young age.
And can you remember, did you do a shutout? Was it a close game?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the game I played in, we played against the Junior Sharks, and they were much better team. So I'm pretty sure they got into the double digits. So that's one of the reasons why it didn't last too long.
Oh, fair enough. And then obviously my geography is going to be terrible, but with the Firebirds, Bobcats, and Corpus Christi, I mean, that was your early formative years as well after San Jose. I mean, how did you find that early formative years for yourself developing as a player?
Yeah, that was really big. Making the move to Arizona when I was around 12 was really big for my development. It's kind of the next step. The Junior Sharks was a great organization, but then to take that step to go to Arizona to where we were on the ice a couple times a day, 5 6 times a week, and then we'd fly to the East Coast. We'd fly to Michigan, fly to Chicago, fly to Minnesota to play in all these tournaments. So it's definitely kind of a step up in intensity. But played for a really good coach there with Ron Filion, who did a great job developing a lot of players from that one youth hockey U16 U14 team moved on to play collegiate hockey, play professional hockey. So it was a really good opportunity for me to kind of take that step from a young age, and that got me into playing in Corpus Christi at when I was 15, and being able to get a taste of junior hockey from a young age, and then moving on to the USHL after that. So that move to Arizona at a young age really kind of got me ready to take that step to juniors at a younger age.
And obviously then you became a Musketeer as well. But I mean, looking back on it, the career that you've had, I mean, at the age that you are now and the teams that you played for in that early formative years, when people look at it, the sacrifice and everything that you've done as a family, but also for your development as well where you are now, I mean, it must be something really good to look back on of what you've done and achieved so far.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's kind of one of the things that it may have been a little bit of a disadvantage being a player from California and kind of wanting to get that level. But then again, very fortunate that I had the family support, the support from coaches to be able to make that sacrifice once we kind of made that decision that was the route I wanted to go, that I wanted to be a hockey player. That's kind of what I wanted to put all the chips in at. And my parents had full support, not just my parents, but my older brother, older sister. So I was able to kind of rely on them, and they made a lot of sacrifices to allow me to really make that a goal and kind of go for it.
And obviously, your career in the USHL as well. A couple of seasons there with Thunder and, of course, the Musketeers. But getting A on your jersey as well in the second years for both teams. I mean, how did that feel for you, getting that achievement and that from your peers and also from the coaches?
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome to wear a letter for both those teams. Obviously, Sioux City is one of the best organizations in that league. So being able to wear a letter and be a leader on that team from still, I think that was my 17-year-old year. So that was obviously an honor. And then moving on to Bloomington, I played for a coach in Dennis Williams that really kind of fit my style. Very hard nosed blue collar player when he played and coached the same way. So it was honestly really easy to lead for a guy like that because I mean we had a lot of comparisons from coach to player, but it was always fun to hear his stories on how he played and some of the stories he had of back when he was a player and how it related to me as a player.
And that's the thing, is that a lot of that we do, with players and people that we meet within the hockey community, the kind of stories that they have and the experiences. Because obviously coming to the UK and stuff like that, hearing the journey that the guys have been through, very similar with the rink situation, with California not having too much opportunities and chances and stuff like that. And it's learning things and traveling the world, which
Yeah.
leads me to the next question as well. That we're traveling again in the US, where we go to Denver, NCAA
Mhm.
University. I mean, how was that? Obviously, another step up as well. Denver, another city, for you to get to know and experience.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. My time at Denver was unbelievable. I think still that's where I met my girlfriend, and that's kind of where we want to. She's not from Denver. I'm not from Denver, but that's where we always talk about settling down when we're done with this. So that's a place that we fell in love with the city. The school is unbelievable. The hockey program is top notch. And so that was kind of a step, and finally you're going to be somewhere for 4 years, right? There's a lot of moving around there for a little bit, and in junior hockey you're never really safe, right? You could be traded at any second, you could be released at any time. In college hockey, obviously you're not guaranteed a spot, but for the most part, like, you're going to be there for 4 years. So that was fun to kind of invest into a culture, into a program that had so much winning success. They won national championships before I was there. They've already won a few since I've been there. So just to be a part of a winning culture like that was really fun, and something I look back at still today and will in the future of how fortunate I was to be able to spend 4 years there.
And that must be the thing, going to a place like that that's got the history, development that's got there, where you can speak to certain players that have been in that environment and gone on to the things as well. I mean, how is it of a feeling to be part of that circumstance and situation in that time? Is that, do you think about it, or is it more of a case of do your own thing? I've just got to do what I can do.
Yeah, it's the another cool thing about the program is they have such a good relationship with their alumni. So you have those guys that played there 4 or 5 years ago and are now in the NHL or are now playing in Europe, and they come back, and whether it's in the summertime or whether they have time off, but they come back to Denver. So I remember being a sophomore, and it's the off season, and Paul Stasny, Tyler Bozak, like those guys are skating with you. They're in the gym with you. So you can, whether you're asking them or you're just hearing through them talking to each other, you learn a lot. Whether it's I mean, lessons of what they're doing in the gym in the off season, or stuff they're just doing away from the rink. So that was really cool, being exposed to that when you're 18, 19 years old, and being able to kind of learn from them.
And and that's the thing, is that because you've got that experience to lean on as well. I mean, in a nice way with being an alumni yourself now. I mean, is that something that you plan maybe to look at? I mean, I know it's too far in the future of off seasons and stuff like that because you've just started this season, but is that something that you kind of want to look at in the next couple of years that you can kind of do that as well, especially because you love the Denver itself?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think, and that's one of the great things, as you said earlier, about the hockey community is there's so much to learn from other people. I think with especially with being able so many different countries in Europe that you can play in, whether and then the States and the East Coast League or the AHL. I mean, part of the reason why I was so confident that it was going to be a good setup for me to come over here to Manchester was because one of my teammates and even classmates at Denver played here in the past. So it's being able to ask people kind of what it is, and so you're not just going into a situation blind. So I think still with my experience playing in the East Coast League and then now a little bit in this league, yeah, I'd love to be able to answer questions whether guys want to come over here compared to what's it like playing in the East Coast League compared to over there. So yeah, I think definitely that tight knit hockey community really is allows you to have a better idea of what you're getting into.
And that kind of leads into the question. Obviously, I know doing stuff with the Heartlanders is going with Iowa, another travel place to go to as well for a couple of years there. So you've kind of seen everything that you wanted to do. So obviously, you had your classmate, former teammate, at Storm.
Yep.
He's when you had the conversations about coming over to the Elite League. I mean, is it a case of looking at it, Googling stuff, YouTube, or is it kind of just going into the heart of people that you know? Is this the right fit for me? What can I achieve? And those kind of questions that you would ask.
Right. Yeah. I think everyone's different. For me, I kind of did a little bit of everything. I kind of wanted to know exactly what I was getting into, exactly what to look forward in the situation I'd be in. So I was asking him, asking my former teammate what it was like, what his experience was, and then yeah, of course, kind of going through the team's Instagram, see kind of the city, right? Check out what Manchester looks like. But that's kind of the way I did it. I know everyone's different, but I was definitely very interested on all kind of sides of it, what it was going to look like from the day to day from a hockey standpoint, as well as what it was going to look like from day to day outside of the rink.
And then from having the conversations and having looking at everything, you're actually here now. So, I mean, how have you find Altrincham, Manchester, the rink itself so far?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a great first couple months. I love the city. We have a really good setup where we're living right. I mean, it's a 5 minute walk to the rink. It's a 5 minute walk to all the restaurants in Altrincham. It's a 5 minute walk to the train station where you can hop on and go 20 minutes to the United Stadium and watch a football game, or 30 minutes to the city and go to all the different spots in Manchester. So the spot really couldn't be better. I've loved it. Was a little nervous coming over about driving on the wrong side of the road, and but I haven't driven the car once yet. So, and I feel like I've been able to do a lot and explore without that. So I think we're really fortunate here in Manchester with the setup we have.
And of course, for the first time being the European adventure, going out of the America, that kind of side of things like that. I mean, is that your plan for this year to obviously try and see the days off that you do get, obviously to see local culture and travel around and maybe drive places just to see and try and take it all in while you're here?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that was one of the big things that was circled on the pros of coming over to Europe, of being able to explore, being able to be in a different culture. I think I tried to do the best as I could in my younger career when I was moving to all these different places. Obviously, still in the United States, but every little state has their different culture, right? The differences between Texas and Iowa are pretty crazy. So I think I did a good job when I was younger, kind of being able to experience those different cultures and in different places. And here, yeah, I definitely want to take advantage of seeing what the United Kingdom has to offer, and then and even further, like being able to go to Paris or go to all the different beautiful countries that surround here. I think that's really one of the awesome things about playing over here.
And And because you said it, I have to ask it: is everything bigger in Texas?
I mean, there are a lot of big things in Texas. I would say the trucks are the one of the crazy things that stand out. You got these trucks they drive on the freeways and side roads that look like they should be in a semi truck show. So there's definitely some bigger things there.
Sorry, I had to ask it.
Yeah,
I don't get a chance to do it, so
yeah.
it's a British thing. But obviously, being in the UK, that you have been, I mean, have you found the cuisine kind of side of things? Yeah, have you kind of picked up things that you've tried and thought, okay, this is new culturally?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I mean that's another thing that we're fortunate enough here is there's so many good restaurants here in Altrincham. We've actually me and my roommate were just talking the other day. It was like I feel like we should be going to Manchester more often because we're so close and it's such a cool city. But sometimes it's hard to get away from this little town with all the great restaurants, great food, great pubs. I'm a coffee guy myself, a big coffee guy, and there's probably about 30 cafes within a 5-10 minute walk. So I like kind of going out and after practice seeing what my favorite cup of coffee is, finding a cool little coffee shop to bunker down in for a little while. So it's been awesome, yeah.
And that's the thing, kind of going into it the first couple of months as well. I mean, people have nominated you for Player of the Month, Warrior of the Month from the league as well. Everyone's kind of taking it to heart within not just the organization's fan base, but people have kind of started to notice you as a player as well. I mean, do you look at outside influences like that, or are you just case very in focus with your game at a time kind of mentality?
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's nice to kind of see and get that recognition. I definitely wouldn't say I close an eye to it. I'm aware of it. But on the other side of it, I think that you can't really let that creep into to one your thought process off the ice or what you're doing every day on the ice. It is nice to see and be aware of it, but to quickly kind of shut that out and stay to what got you there, right? Obviously, it's very early if you have one good month and five bad months in a season, it's not going to be a very good season. So yeah, it's nice to see, but it's not really affecting what I do on a day-to-day basis.
And obviously, we talk about month by month, one good month, and so on. But with the Challenge Cup and the Elite League, points wise, assists and goals that you kind of got. Obviously, not to delve too deeply with what you've got, or if you do, but did you have a preconceived in your mind what you wanted to achieve by the end of the season or month by month, target wise, points wise, or are you just it's far too early to?
Yeah. To be honest, not really. I think that's and honestly, I've kind of liked it. I have done that in the years past. You kind of have a number that you're going at and say, okay, at Christmas, I kind of should be here. And but with coming over here and it being so different and not really knowing how it's gonna go. I didn't really do that this year, and I don't know if that's one of the reasons that I've had a little bit more success than years in the past. But yeah, I think maybe at the halfway mark or as we go on here a little, I can look at it from that standpoint because I'll have a better idea. But from the start of things, even with the Challenge Cup and the league game, sometimes it's also new to me. I don't really know what's going on. Usually, I just show up to the rink and coach says it's a cup game or coach says it's a league game, and then kind of go from there. But I think that's kind of the way it should be. Shouldn't really approach any game different than the other.
And of course, Elite Prospects at the moment has got you down for 54 games, 44 goals, and 41 goals, 41 assists by the end of the season because they've got the new projected thing. So that's their plan, given the
Mhm.
circumstances. But so with the league itself, was there any kind of teams that you knew, people that have signed for different teams that you'll be playing against this season that you're aware of, or
Yeah, so yeah, actually I mean there's four other guys with myself included. There's five guys from my team in Denver in the league. Obviously myself and then Ryan Barrow and Cohen Olszewski are in Cardiff. and we were all classmates at Denver. And then Liam Fenley and Tyson McClellan were one grade above me at Denver. Then they're in Glasgow. And then Bo Hansen, who's in Belfast, he was with me at Denver. So a lot of guys I played with and against are in the league. So you kind of see them signing throughout the summer, and I think the league's done an unbelievable job kind of raising the talent they've gotten the last 3 years. Just from That's when I've kind of been more of an eye on the league. And you see some of the players and the quality of players that are coming to this league, and it's a huge testament on why I think this league's getting better and better every year.
And that's the thing is having people that you can go against that you can have a little bit of a friendly. I mean, I know game situations you've got to obviously be eye on the prize, but you kind of it's in between. You can just have like warm up and just like nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and stuff like that before and
Yeah,
after the game and stuff. So it must be really good that you've got obviously that history with people that are around that you probably keep in touch with when you can, but obviously focus on playing the game.
right,
Of
definitely.
course. So I'll say it. Storm's rink has obviously had the history of being a very tough place to go because with the dimensions and everything and the atmosphere and the fans being so close proximity. From pre-season to now, I mean, how's it been playing on home ice with the fans? I mean, the reaction that you've had and
Yeah. I mean, it's good. I personally love it. I think kind of coming into, I mean, especially because it's our home rink. Teams coming in and they're already not going to be comfortable, and that's kind of the way we want to play as a team. Make the opponent as uncomfortable as possible. And although it may be smaller than the other rinks, it's loud. It looks like a sellout almost every game. There's always not many seats open, and they're loud, and it's hard place to come into. And if teams are going to come in and already kind of be unhappy with the rink they got to play in, then we can start with a little bit of an advantage, and then kind of play a short, fast, quick, hard game that kind of favors into that rink. When you have teams coming over that are used to playing on the Olympic sheet and extra 20 feet or so wide, and they're used to being able to make these plays to now when you come to Manchester, that extra half second they have to make that play is gone. And if we can kind of play that into advantage and play a simple game, I think it's awesome. I mean, I think I would definitely rather it be my home rink that I play 42 games at than your away rink when you play 5 or 6 and you can't really get a hang of it.
and the other side of the coin for that is that with the schedule the way it is, playing in that rink on a Saturday and then a Sunday being on that bigger piece of ice. I mean, how is that from a planning point of view that you've obviously got less seconds to think about it on a Saturday, but then Sunday you've got more time to think about it? Is that adjustment something easier for
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah, I think it definitely is. I think in my opinion, it's easier to go from the small ice to the big ice, because then you're just adjusting to a little bit more time, to where when you're going from the big ice to the small ice, you got less time. So, yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. But that goes back to kind of, I think, the advantage to where we get the 40 games or whatever, half the season on the small ice, and then the other half is our adjustment to where, okay, we got a little more time. The power play might look a little different. Obviously, you got to adjust a little bit on the penalty kill because you got teams that are going to spread you out and have that extra little bit of ice and time, than you would have in our rink. But for the most part, I think it's something that we've done a good job at, and just kind of continue to learn from.
Of course, home advantage as well. You get the advantage of seeing Lightning Jack on a weekly basis. I mean, how have you found obviously the mascot side of things with his shenanigans?
Yeah. I mean, I think again from the mascot to the fans and the noise in that rink, you wouldn't tell it's some whatever people say about it. I think if you come experience a game, I mean, especially the on ice perception. Like it's loud in there. The fans do a great job. They have the flags. They have, right, like you said, the mascot. I think it's, they do what they have. They take what they have and they make a really really fun environment in there.
And of course, fans at the weekend. So we're going to cover that game a little bit more, but the man of the match side of things. I mean, how does it feel getting chocolate bars thrown at you?
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. It was my first preseason game. We played, I think it was Nottingham, um, and after the game, the chocolate bars come raining down. I was more confused than anything, and I just kind of looked around and found Critchlow, who's always good to ask questions for. And he's like, "Yep, every time we win, this will happen. The chocolate bars will be in our locker room after." So definitely a fun tradition.
No. And obviously, with the fact that UK chocolates and of course American chocolates as well. I mean, is there a few of your favourites that have actually been thrown on the ice and you think, yep, got that one?
Yeah, yeah, the double deckers are good. I like the Aero bars. We don't have those in the States, and whenever we'd go up to Canada, we'd bring those back, and obviously with them being here, those are two that I'll try and find all the time.
And it is fun, seeing it. I always think about this from a standpoint of coming in that you can see stuff on Instagram and other channels as well, but to experience it for that first time, it just must be, trying to explain it to someone back home because I'm sure there's like videos and bits and pieces that you can show them, but to take it all in the moment must just be a really, really great experience.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think there's definitely a difference of seeing it on video or even watching a game on video and actually being in that rink. I'm lucky enough my parents are going to be able to make it over in December for a few games. So I'm excited to kind of hear their side of it, and they've been watching on TV, but I'm excited for them to be over here and actually kind of see how loud it is and see what it's like in person.
And that's the thing, obviously, the sacrifice that we talked about earlier, the fact that they're coming over, Christmas time, if they're coming in December as well, that kind of festivity side of things, totally celebrating, spend that time. 'Cause it must be really tough being in a place that you've never been before. Obviously, having friends in the UK in different teams, but I'm sure the teams kind of just fully embrace you for those, make sure you're settled as best as you can be in the staff as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's always kind of a hard time of year but I mean when you've been doing it for this long, really, it's kind of the same stuff every year. It's whether sometimes you get lucky and you get to go home and sometimes you don't, and that's kind of just part of it. I think that's when it comes in handy to have a good team culture, because the reality is you're probably going to be spending it with some teammates and hanging out, and they're going through the same thing. So it's going to be nice to be able to have them out in December. My girlfriend as well will come out around that time. So yeah, it'll be nice to be able to spend some of that time with them around the holidays.
And the Christmas market in Manchester is absolutely brilliant. So if you get a chance, highly
Yeah,
recommend.
yeah,
Um,
that's the advantage. A lot of my family will be at home spending it, and I'll be able to send them pictures of the Christmas markets over here. So
it's something we do well. And then, of course, schedule. I mean, Christmas is probably one of the busiest time for having as many games. I mean, obviously, with what you've done in the past, I don't know if you've looked at the schedules with the Friday games, of course, tomorrow, and then having a Saturday or a Sunday and the travel that you've got to do. I mean, I know Manchester to Glasgow compared to probably some of the traveling that you've been used to. I mean,
yeah,
I'm assuming it's a headphone, music, film kind of thing just to get it in the zone while you're traveling up.
yeah, it kind of depends, I think, and that's honestly another thing that I've had to get used to. Last year we do a lot of our trips. I mean, whether it was the day before, not a lot of bus trips on the day of. So now it's still kind of trying to figure out what the routine is. But usually get on, hang out with the guys for a couple hours, have a meal, and then a lot of times most of the guys will shut it down, turn the lights off, and kind of try and get some sleep for an hour and a half. Then wake up and you got 30 minutes till wherever you're going to be. Have a coffee and then get off the bus and try and shake out the bus legs as quickly as possible and be ready to go.
And do you have home or away kind of pre-game rituals? I mean, taping up a certain way, certain order, the way you do your stick, or anything?
I think earlier in my career I was pretty superstitious and kind of had the exact routine I liked to follow. And I think I've definitely became a lot more relaxed in the years past. Just kind of you have your things that you want to make sure you get done, but not in any specific order or any routine. It's usually come to the rink, have a coffee, sit around, hang with the guys, tape your stick, grab a little bike, and get ready to go. So nothing too crazy. It's fun. You play with guys and you look at the clock and you know exactly where they're going to be at this time before the game, and they don't ever deviate from their routine. But I've said became a lot more relaxed in the years past.
And obviously, with all that stuff that you can do, and then you see the away side just doing their run around in the car park, where you've got kind of got that relaxation before a game. That must obviously be another factor with home comforts as well that you can do and enjoy.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. So obviously last weekend it'd be remiss for me not to mention it. Obviously the last year's Grand Slam winning Sheffield Steelers come to storm the history that between those two teams. It's always a battle. Um, and from a standpoint of getting, the two goals that you did, getting man of the match, playing these top teams like a Belfast, the Steelers, Devils as well. Are those moments something that obviously you kind of savour as game wise, or is it a case of it's a 10 league system and everyone brings their own challenges? Do you look at those top games, or is it a case of just performance levels regardless?
Yeah, I mean kind of like I said with the league and cup games, you don't really want to approach too many games differently. Kind of obviously every game matters in this league and in these high level leagues. Any team can beat any team. Um, but yeah, when you're playing against Sheffield and you're new to the league, but all you've heard about is how they won three trophies last year. They're doing an amazing job in the Champions League. We actually were watching them play Zurich on the Tuesday before we played them. So yeah, it is a little more energy in the air, right? The social media is announcing that's going to be a sellout already. So yeah, I think when you play those top teams, there's definitely a little higher energy. Maybe you get a little more fired up to go out there and play. And we were actually fortunate enough that was we only had one game that week, so pretty much our entire focus was playing Sheffield. A lot of the times, I mean, the majority of those times, right? You got two games, and it's usually against two different opponents. So you're kind of trying to prepare for two different things. But we had a great week of practice going into it, and we knew that they're obviously beatable. But we knew what we kind of had to do. There was a pretty specific game plan, and I think we from top to bottom, 60, what was it, 12, 11 forwards that night, and our goalie did everything we planned to do.
And obviously, the game, the way it kind of panned out with the overtime, getting the winner and it getting overturned, and the celebrations and getting ready for the man match celebration. How much of that as a player is that you think you've won it, and then you've got to obviously reset the clock and then go again for the rest of overtime and then into the shootout because you've had that euphoria of the
Yeah,
victory.
for
It must
sure.
be,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard. I feel like it's something that doesn't happen very often too. But yeah, I think I was in a situation on the bench or a position on the bench where I kind of saw it happen pretty clearly. And I kind of had a feeling it was going to be coming back. So I tried to stay relatively calm. I don't think most of the other guys maybe saw that because it was definitely pretty fired up in the celebration line. And then having to wait, it's kind of a long review too, longer than it usually is with goalie interference. But yeah, with that goal being disallowed, we kind of had to refocus and kind of pretend like that didn't happen. But we did a good job being able to get it to a shootout and then being able to capitalize on that situation.
And then you get the win. Another reset, obviously, with the games there, and obviously training this week, and the mics as coaches as well. I mean, how have obviously we've spoken about the players and the fans, but I mean, how has the coaching side have been for you for a couple of weeks? Obviously, working with Mike and obviously Ryan as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's been awesome. Obviously, I signed pretty late here, so I was really fortunate that Finner gave me the opportunity. Finner and Flags gave me the opportunity to come in, and come in late, and kind of from day one, it's been a good connection. I think we obviously got off to a great start, winning 3 of the 4 preseason games. And then kind of hitting a little bit of a wall there, but obviously bouncing back this past weekend. And we have a really good message here. I think it's just being able to play our way. We don't really want to worry about the other teams too much. But if we can kind of play our way and not necessarily kind of get sucked into playing other teams' games and kind of spreading the ice out and playing a track meet. But if we play our way and play the way that our team is built, I think we can have success. And I think both Finner and Flags have done a good job creating a team to be able to play that way, and then instilling the message to be able to go out and do it each weekend.
And then just last one from me is obviously, like you said, you've not been here as long as other people, and of course the Storm support have done, bits where you can meet the fans and everything like that, and get integrated and greet the quiz nights and the introductions and everything. I mean, what message would you have for the fans that obviously kind of just taking you fully as a player that they really really enjoy and is a fan favorite already?
Yeah, again, myself and the team as a whole are very fortunate to be able to have a fan base like this. All we hear a lot about, oh, Manchester's rink isn't the nicest and blah blah blah. But with the fan base you have, it doesn't really creep into how we look at our experience. They're loud every night. Obviously, I think we lost 3 home games in a row, and the next home game it's sold out. So obviously we don't want to do that again. We love winning at home, and being able to put on a good show for them. But just be able to have that support, whether we're winning or whether we're going through a hard time, has been awesome. So it's been great to be able to get out in the community a little bit with them, like you said, with the quiz night, and then being able to celebrate home wins with them is awesome.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.